it's Ryan Tierney from Lean Made Simple, and I'm really excited to announce the first speaker of the 2-second Lean Summit, Mr. Brad Cairns. He flew the whole way from Ontario, Canada to be with us, and his talk on the Manufacturing Continuum is really powerful, and I really hope you enjoy this presentation.
Without further ado, look, I'm Brad Cairns. I'll tell you a little bit about my story. I've been in manufacturing about that long. I started out in cars. It didn't quite go the way I wanted it to, but I had to get my start somewhere. Since the car thing didn't pan out, we've since ventured out into a few more areas. The first one being Stolbeck Machinery. We manufacture a sanding robot new to the woodworking industry, and thank you for all our customers. It's taking off like crazy. We have an MDF door company. We manufacture MDF doors, and because of those two companies, we also have what's Quantum Lean, which is a website which all kinds of tools and stuff that you can use to, in your lean adventures. And we did a lot of R&D with the Quantum Lean website. R&D stands for rip off and duplicate. You'll notice that our standards look maybe a lot like Fast Caps. Our Kanban cards are maybe exactly like Michael's. So thank you for that, guys. These are the three companies that we're currently operating, and it sounds good, like, oh, Brad, founder of these three companies, but the reality is I couldn't do even one iota of it without an amazing team behind me that helps all of my crazy ideas come to fruition. A couple of them are here today with me, so thank you for joining me. That's Craig and Lori. They're my top tier people. Looking good. Okay. All right, so I'm going to dive into this, but first I want everyone to know that this was something that was just taught to me, and it helped me profoundly. I don't even know if it falls into the realm of lean, but anyway, it helped me like you wouldn't believe. So I thought I'm going to share that. Actually, I didn't think I was going to share that. Ryan made me do it. But in the event you've learned from any of these people on the screen or anybody here at the table, like maybe Mr. Hamazawa, they're right and I'm wrong. Okay, go with what they say. Don't worry about what the woodworker from Ontario says. These are the smart ones. So we know everybody in the room makes things, right? Do we all make things? Cool. 2 people. Awesome. So my question today is, are you making the right things? We'll see. So also with the things that you're making, there's certain systems that lend themselves a little bit better in each one of those categories. So we're not going to delve right into how a system might work, but just going to high level touch on them so you can not spin your wheels like I did for 30 years trying to figure out, am I implementing the wrong thing in the wrong spot? So without further ado, this talk is backed by popular demand. Actually, that's a total lie. I just put that slide in to make myself feel better. I legitimately, Ryan made me do this. And I think it's just for the back of the room. He's like, I'm tired of running around my factory and being the only one saying this stuff. I need everyone from Seating Matters to hear it. So maybe just for you guys, I don't know. But here I am. And you got the warehouse story, so I'll skip past that. You've all got notepads in front of you, so feel free to play along if you think it applies to you. And let's get going. So what we're going to learn today is something that was taught to me, and it's just, basically like a different way to maybe look at your business or maybe look at the products that you're making, and it kind of applies on a micro level up to a macro level. So if you're developing a product, you should be able to use this tool. If you're starting a business, you should be able to use this tool. If you're talking to other people, once you're familiar with this, it's a great talking point because then you can immediately understand where the company is at, what tools they need, and what problems they have. So this thing is called the Manufacturing Continuum. And it was taught to me by a guy named Harold Cavallero. Who's read The Goal? Just a few of us. Awesome. This guy was number 4 employee of Goldrat when he came to the US. So smart cookie. So the Manufacturing Continuum, again, just a tool to look at things maybe in a little bit of a different light. So without further ado, let's jump in. On the right-hand side, left-hand side, of the continuum, we have what we would consider engineer to order products. And think of the far left is you're only ever going to make one. It's completely engineered, ordered, built. It's Johnny Cash's guitar. It says Johnny Cash on the neck. Once it's done, you ship it, and you never think about that again. We go to the other side of the continuum. Think of this just the opposite. Basically, on this side, we have high volume, repetitive work. And then in the middle, Harold called it complex, discrete manufacturing. Call it what you want. I don't know even what that means. So we're going to run with that. But basically, when we look at all three of these, you're kind of like, on one side, you're doing the whole kit and caboodle. In the middle, it's some manufacturing, some assembly. And on the far side, good chance you're just making parts in high volumes. And I mean, it doesn't have to be high volume. It could be tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000, doesn't matter. So how is this crazy thing going to help you? The burning question. We need to work through just a few questions, and then you can play along and see if this, in fact, did help or not, or at least help you start internalizing some things. So the first thing we want to do is we want to plot our work on the continuum. So where on here does the work that you do fall? And you have to just do the math yourself, like, yes, some of it is here and there, but there's really only 5 spots. You can say left, right, center, left of center, right of center. That's all I need to know about your company. And then I'll start to understand what you make, how you make it. So just a great talking point right off the hop. And if you make like one custom thing and a bunch of high volume parts, 80-20. So just plot your work where your gut tells you it is. The second thing we want to talk about is these things. Human beings. Who has those in their factory? Just 4 or 5 of you. Cool. Super automated crowd, Paul. I like it. All right. So when we start to discuss human beings, and we go to this side of the continuum, what kind of person do we need to function on this side of the continuum? Someone yell out a word. It'll be fun, I promise. Skilled. Perfect. Okay. So we could probably agree that the person on this end of the continuum needs to be smart. They probably need to be creative. They probably, you kind of don't want to have to supervise their every move, so maybe independent. But I think in a nutshell, shoving this way, we need craftsmen or women or whatever else. They get political fast. Then we go to the other side of the continuum. And what kind of person do we need on this side? Pardon? Robots. Okay. Good. That's the picture I should have used. Okay. So on this side, we think, well, they need to be reliable, right? I need them to come to work, probably content. I just want them to come and chug away. And we want them to be pretty compliant. Just please listen to me, do the thing, whatever. So we need operators. And at the risk of being politically incorrect or offensive, you're all thinking it, so I just put the picture there. In the middle, you have to do the math for yourself, right? If your company is over here, or right in the middle, you need half or 70-30 or whatever. Plot your people on your graph. So wherever they fall, next slide, better off. We need to rewind just a couple of slides because there is one slide that should have really pissed everybody off. And it's that one. Because this is impossible. If you run a business and you want to run a successful business, this ain't going to work. There's only one place this can be successful, and that's a zoo. Okay? And I don't think anyone's starting the next lean zoo in this room. No. So forget those. We have these. We have these human beings. These human beings with hearts, these human beings with souls, these human beings with feelings, these human beings with their own creative genius. So it's not fair to rope them in and say, I'm giving you a job a monkey can do, because that's just simply not true. If it was, all our factories would be full of them. Forget it. We can't do it. So the challenge is, what do you do if you have some business on that end? What do you do with these people? How do we get these people really engaged on this side of the continuum? Think about it first. On this side, where's all the focus? It's on the product, right? I'm whittling this guitar. I'm going to quote Paul, massaging a piece of mahogany. You're thinking nothing except for how am I going to get this thing done perfectly? But on this side of the continuum, really, that's kind of off the table. You're really focused. The part is done. The engineering is done. I just need you to make the part. So what can we be thinking about? The process. Let me just get a drink of water here. We take these geniuses and we turn them loose on our processes. We say, forget about the part you're making. Don't worry about it. That's already done. Let's look at how do we make that part. And now you have independent, creative, smart people fixing your processes. You can't tell me that that's not better than a whole bunch of robots, operators. So there's a couple of things that work really good here to also engage the people, because maybe they haven't been convinced enough. You may have heard of this book. If you haven't, highly recommend it. We use 2-second lean. We use 2-second lean at every turn, because as soon as you start empowering those people to make their process better every single day, no one can say they're bored. No one can say I don't have something to think about or I'm not being challenged at work. The other piece to the equation that really helps is there's a burning question in every single employee's mind. And that burning question is, what's in it for me? I'm going to work on your process. I'm going to do this lean thing. I'm going to do my 2-second improvements every day. But what's in it for me? And to get that answer, you need this book. As luck would have it, you're not going to believe it, everybody. Both of these authors are in the room with us today. So you can flag them down and maybe get some advice. But with the combination of these two books is going to help you develop your people from operators to creative geniuses working on a process. The last thing we need to plot on the graph here is, where's your heart at? Because that's the hard one to move, right? I mean, if you like something, you like something. What do you do? So we want to make sure that our job also is in line with our passion. So you can take a minute and apply your passion on there and say, okay, do I love building that thing? I'm a woodworker, right? So I'm talking in woodworking, like maybe we'll build a reception desk and it's beautiful, or a custom kitchen or whatever. Am I taking pictures of that and showing my family and bringing my kids there to show them and telling all my friends about it? You know, that's a good sign that, hey, I'm super passionate about that. Or do you get that project every once in a while that's like 500 of something and you just get so fired up, you're like, yes, finally we can just, really run the machines, or we can do whatever. And so do you get more fired up about building multiples of things? So you want to plot your passion on there, or where you think it is at the moment. And in my observation, and remember, just the woodworker from Ontario, Canada, there's oodles of far more smart people in this room right here. So take it with a grain of salt. But what I've seen is, if your thing looks like this, where you love engineer to order, you love the product, you have that work is in your wheelhouse, like that's what your customers are asking for, but your people are kind of over here, you're going to struggle. You're going to struggle hard, probably with quality issues all day long, every day, because your people just aren't there yet. Up to you to fix that. So you're going to have endless quality issues if your thing looks a little bit like this. Then, if it looks like this, where your people are in the engineer to order side, but all your work is kind of on the higher volume repetitive side, you're going to really fight with retention, employee retention. They're going to be bored unless we get them focused on the process first, right? We didn't forget that part. So we're going to fight with employee retention on here. And if it looks like this, where you love to build custom things, but on the other side, none of your customers are asking for it and your people can't do it anyway, I think at the end of the day, you're just going to hate your life. You're going to get up every day, go to work, and just be like, another day of making bumper brackets. Yay. So in my experience, the closer we can get these things, the less struggle that we're going to have. So wherever your arrows line up, doesn't matter. I want you to draw a circle, a quarter of the size of the scale that you drew, and see, do I line up? Is my passion and my people and my business, are those all in line? Or not, they don't have to be totally in line. It's a big circle, but are they close? Because that means I'm probably going to be happy. My people can probably do it. My customers are giving us that kind of work. This was critical. We missed this for 30 years until someone showed me this. And I was like, oh my God, I can't tell you how fast we changed it. So now you have some decisions to make. And what doesn't matter whether you're moving your work over to where your passion is, or you're moving your passion over to where your work is, or any combination in between, but just try and get those things a little bit closer, because life will start to get a little bit easier. The only thing that I want to, I'm one slide behind myself. The only thing that I really want to talk about is the passion bit, because it's a funny thing. You might think I'm super passionate about building my custom whatever you build. But there's another aspect to business, and I don't think I have to explain to this room that people come first and we develop people and blah, 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 blah. So I'm going straight to level 2, which is also critical for a business. But you have to decide, are you really passionate about the work that you're doing? Or could you be a little bit passionate about making money as well? Because without that stuff, it's really hard to develop people. It's really hard to take them on the lean tours, the lean summits. It's really hard to make high level improvements if you can't have a few bucks to back you up. So, and let's face it, the point of a business is to make money. That's, rule number 1. So let's think about, would our passion be different if the dollars were also associated with that? Like, I love building kitchens one at a time, each thing custom. But if I got paid $1 billion, could I really get into making bumper brackets? So that's the question that I want to pose, really. And now, with the new information, maybe plot your passion again, or just keep it as a wild card until the end of the presentation and then tell me what you think. So the first step that we need to do is get your arrows plotted. Second step that we need to do is make some decisions. If you're in alignment, awesome. Tear up the paper, throw it out. I wasted 30 minutes of your life. There'll be 45 great speeches after mine. But if you have some misalignment, maybe it's time to make some decisions. Make those hard decisions. And next step is easy. Go for gold. Don't look back. Make it happen. Now, that's half. But before I go, I want to just touch on the systems that kind of work along with each phase. Again, this is going to be pretty quick. And if you have any questions, you can flag me down. But on this side, Kanban works really, really well. like perfect. Like you could run your whole plant off it. In the middle, you're going to need some software help. You know, I know in the woodworking world, it's like there's 10 ERPs. I mean, everybody knows this stuff, but you need some kind of advanced planning and scheduling because you're using some parts from these guys and you're building some stuff in your factory and they all have to come together. And as soon as your business gets above about $5 million, it's almost impossible to manage without some software. So get yourself some software when you get over 5 million. And on the engineer to order side, it's almost project management because you should be so hyper-focused on your drawings and your information that it's perfect going out to the shop floor, because the shop floor, he's whittling a guitar. He's standing at a workbench. I almost don't care if his screwdriver's across the room, you know, like he's going to need it once or whatever. So if you're over there, we like to say, listen, you're an engineering company with a shop out back. Do you have to dial in the shop? 100%. But if you're starting from scratch, start with the project management piece, get all of that dialed in, and then move out into the factory. This also works every single place on the continuum. There's nowhere where you can't convince people that going out and making improvements on a daily basis is a bad idea. Also, that one works everywhere on the continuum. Because that's the people bit. They're very critical. So before I jump down, I just want to plant a few seeds. Let's just look at some companies and find out where are they on the continuum. And I tried to pick on a few people in the room. Let's start there with our fearless leader, FastCap. Right of center, Yellow Tools. Right of center, My Company. Right of center, Coca-Cola. Right of center, Cambridge Engineering. Right of center, Toyota. Right of center, Apple. Any guesses? You guys are like the smartest ones I've ever talked to. Little plug for Josh at Bottoms Up. Right of center, Closet Doctor. Where are you? Yeah, I kind of put you in the middle, sort of left. Yep. Seating Matters. Where are you? Sorry, there's 50 of you here and I couldn't hear one. Yeah, you got it. Snapcab, our buddy Glenn over at Snapcab. Right of center, Torre, who you cannot find their logo online no matter how hard you try. Right of center. And Valoric. Did Alex get here finally? Is he here? Yes. Woo. Oh, there he is. Okay, good. Thanks for coming out. Valoric, right of center. So, far be it for me to tell you what you should be doing or what you should be working on, but there's a lot of evidence suggesting one side of the continuum is kind of like a little better than the other side. I don't know if I can think of any super custom factory on the New York Stock Exchange because they're very hard to scale. So ponder that. If you're picking up what I'm putting down, great. Thank you, Rock. But let's say you're absolutely stuck on this side. And there's nothing you can do. You're like, I love it over here. My customers are over here. And the starving artist thing just fits, I never wanted a nice car anyway. So I'm going to stay on this side. The trick is, and I'm not telling you exactly what to do, but the trick is your customers have to feel like this, okay? They have to feel like whatever you're designing them is the only one that you're ever going to build ever. Your factory has to feel like this. Like, oh, thank God we built that thing 92 times and today's just another day in the office. So how do you do that? The only chance you possibly could stand is if you're somewhere around here, that everything you do is so dialed in that you don't have to spend 1 minute thinking about Are we going to run out of toilet paper today? Did we order enough screws? Is there enough steel? Is there enough wood? Are the machines running? Is everything breaking down? Blah, blah, blah. You have to take all of that so far out of the equation that you can focus exactly and only on your engineered to order product. And before today, now my opinion is quickly changing. I thought that this was about the only model. So high variation generally is going to be low dollars. Low variation generally is going to be high dollars. And you can say, Brad, I don't believe you. I think you're full of beans. But you might have a harder time arguing with that guy. So you can read as good as I can. If you had to put it in one sentence, reduce variation. So if we want to take our business to the next level, if we want to scale, if we want to have more good days than bad days, the variation has to come out. And up until today, I would have swore up and down, hands down, that from here over, forget about it. Like, don't even talk to me. If someone's like, oh, cool, I'm left. I'm like, cool, I'm out. But today I learned you can be left. But if you are, you have to be world class. And I mean world class. Nothing left to chance. No stone unturned. Not one corner of your factory untouched. And then, and only then, will you probably do a good job over here. And I don't know about you guys, but I have never in my life seen anybody doing it better than the folks at Seating Matters. So my hat is off to you, Seating Matters, for pulling it off on the left-hand side of the continuum. And hopefully for the rest of you, this can serve a little bit of a purpose in your day today. I'm out.